part 32. We're going to pick up right where we left off. So last time we started with the hair, we used the snap tool. We added materials. We're trucking. We're going to keep trucking. We're going to select our object. We're going to shift D and grab it. And so look, so this is worth noting. If I move this in a little bit, it snaps into a weird position, and that's just awkward. But if I hit Control, well, you can't see that. So let me escape out of that now. Now we can see. Well, you still can't see that. What the heck? Let me close this. All right, I need to bring this up so you can see these. Display theme, offset. Why is it at -26? Here we go. Control. Okay, cool. So now you can see that. You can see Control. Great. So, all right, with my object selected, look, I'm going to grab, and you see that? It does something weird, and we don't want that. If I hit Control, that goes away, and it kind of keeps it there for free. Okay? So I'm going to move it there and kind of lock that into place. I'm going to grab with G, and it connects to about that. Okay. Maybe rotate that along the Z a little bit. Z axis, and then maybe I want to thicken this up along the Y axis a little bit. Okay. All right. So let me go into front view and side view. All right. And again, if we were modeling this with straight polys, it'd be a pain in the patoot. Because we're using curves, we only have 2 edit points. We're going to tab into edit mode. We have an edit point here, and then another one here. And with these, we can get, all the shape we need. Okay. So let's grab this about here and move it up about that way. And over on the x-axis about that way. Like that. And maybe even thicken this up a little bit. In object mode, let's scale it a little bit more along the x-axis. Just give it some thickness. Okay? Maybe this one in edit mode, this one here, can have a little bit more of a curve and come in like that. About there. Okay, you with me? Man, I hope so. All right, actually, let's select this one to make sure that it's not getting into the face. I'm going to tab into object mode, select a new object, tab back into edit mode, and select my anchor point, and bring it out just a scotch. Let me scale that down a tiny little bit. Okay, and you can see we're building out. Move that over a little bit on the x-axis, like that. This can come down a little bit more, like that, like that. And this might even be able to come over. There we go. You're kind of building out that layer. Okay. See, we got one of these. It's like a big, thick bang coming around the side of her face. Outstanding. Let us save our work. One of the main things that I want to stress is that you really kind of have to form this. It can look any way that you want to, and a lot of it is trial and error. You're gonna have to learn how to rotate your curves, right? And now we're just gonna build this out around her head. It's gonna take some time, but you can do it. We can do it. We're gonna do it together, and you're doing great. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so here, let me tab into edit mode. All right, so here we're here. Okay, so check this out. This looks pretty good. As it stands, right? I mean, obviously there's much more we need to do to it, but if we make this just go all the way around the head, it'll look kind of like it was copy and pasted. We want to add a little variety to the hair, and you can kind of see she's got this soft pink, a little darker pink, much darker pink, very dark pink. Like there's variation in the hair. So how do we create that variation? And the answer is we mess with our Bezier curves down here. Okay, we're going to add some variation to this Bezier curve, and it'll be reflected in this piece of hair right now. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to select this, our bevel, and then I'm going to tab into edit mode, and our handles are going to pop up. Just click A, and now they're all selected. Okay, and we want to subdivide. So let's subdivide, and it adds just a bunch more points right here. If you try to zoom into this and you can't, hit the period key, numpad period, and then it lets you zoom in. Sometimes there's just, you're zoomed into something already and Blender just won't let you, and you try to zoom in on your middle mouse. If that ever happens, tap the period key. Okay, this one, period key. Okay. Now let's select this one arbitrarily. Okay, and again, this is what we're doing. Can be found. If you want to go way faster, just use the CG Cookie model. They use Blender, not the CG Cookie model, the CG Cookie template. And those, I've said it before, I'll say it again, like, when it comes to OGs of the Blender tutorial universe, they're in the pantheon. They're on the council of elders. Okay, and a link will be in the description. They do use an old version of Blender, so you kind of got, and the interface has completely changed. A lot of the buttons they use aren't there, or they're hidden, and you kind of have to know where to look. So if you do, then run with it. But if you're okay with going slow, then stay here. So we have a handle connected, selected, and we want to alter the variation in our bevel. Okay, so we need to set our control points. We're going to hit control points. We're going to go to set handle type, and we want to go to free, just like that. Okay, now let's add some variation to these SOBs, and I'm going to click this one, and then I'm going to shift click this one. So I want these two handles selected, and then I'm going to G to grab, and then shift Z to keep them not moving up and down. Okay, and then I'm just going to move them like that. Just move them up. Okay, and then maybe I'll grab this one, move it over like that, and that should be reflected in our lock of hair. So let's come to front view. We got a wireframe mode, so let's tab into object mode, select our object. We're in wireframe viewport shading up here. That's no big deal. We can come into here, and then we can come into here. You know what? Let's click on render, viewport shading, render. So let's go into tab into object mode and select our hair. Okay, and then come in. Oh, look at that. How pretty is that? Do you see this right here? This like little groove in our hair, and it's in every strand of hair. If it's hard for you to see, just take off the tracers. Okay, these overlays right here, these overlays are really just for us. They're for, it's kind of like a visual cue. You want to see where one thing starts and another thing ends. In three-dimensional space, overlays are your best friend. But when it comes time to render stuff, you're going to want to take it off. And look how pretty that is. Look, and now she's got some divots in her hair. Just some absolutely gorgeous bends. And it looks way more organic than how it looked before. Much more hair-like. Okay, are you with me? Man, I hope so. And I hope you're able to do that as well. So let's add a few more of these indentations to our Bezier curve. And again, all we add like one shape, and then we mess with the curve, and it's reflected in the shape, which is great. So it adds much more variety and much more natural. I mean, I say natural. It's obviously not natural looking hair. There's no particle systems, but as far as anime hair is concerned, it's closer to the mark. So I'm going to turn our overlays back on just so you can kind of see exactly what I'm doing. I want to tab back into object mode, select my Bezier bevel, tab into edit mode, and I want to make a couple more curves, y'all. And again, I'm trying to zoom in. I can't do it. Period key. Hey, and it's no problem. Okay, all the way zoomed in. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one that we did. All right, so we're going to grab Shift C, so just move it along the X and Y axis. Let's go about here. Let us liberate our handles, control points, set handle type free. You can also go V, right? You can just hit V, set handle type to free. Select that one. Grab it over, bring it like that a little bit. You know, this one actually looked really good, so let's just try and, you know, success leaves clues, right? Maybe like that, see what happens. See what happens, okay? And I mean that. I mean, like, let's see what happens. It's kind of this whole thing is a trial and error thing. There we go. Okay, it kind of looks, you know, overlaid like individual strands of hair. Very pretty, you guys. I like this. Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, save your work. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna turn these back on and jump back into the modeling viewport solid, and in front view, in object mode. Okay, like this looks good, you guys. Looks good, but it's still gonna run into, you know, if every one of these strands of hair has this kind of crease in the middle and crease on the side, it's gonna look just like we hit copy and paste. So we can add some and should add some variation to this. So this is our bevel. We have bevel A up here. You with me? Good. Let's create another bevel. All right, I'm just gonna go Shift D to create another bevel, grab it along the X-axis and just bring it right here. Now this up here says bevel A dot 001. I don't like that at all. I'm gonna call it bevel B. Okay, bevel B, outstanding. And right here we got bevel B, perfect. And then with this, let's just change up here. I'm gonna go into top view with 7. Let's change up how this looks, and we're gonna create a different type of shape for the hair to kind of curve, and then we can interlay one over the other. So there's no procedural looking, so it doesn't look copy pasted, right? It'll be true variation and variety all the way around. So let's tab into edit mode, and let's bring this up a little bit. Maybe scale this in like that. Bring this over like that. Bring one of these back down like that, one of these back down, and then grab this and bring this over closer to this guy. Bring this in a little bit, and then that, we scale it, maybe bring that in like that. Okay, bring this in, kind of looks like like a sloppy diamond, and that's okay. Let's tap V and make this free handle type, and let's bring this Shift Z. Okay, so we lock it there. But then this handle, let's grab it and let's bring a divot on the underside of the hair. So this one has a divot on the top side of the hair. Now we're creating a divot on the underside of the hair. Okay, so we have two different types of bevels that we can now apply to different locks of hair. Are you with me? Man, I hope so. Okay, all right, let's save our work quickly. So let's check this out. Let's go into object mode. And we're going to add that recently created. Here, let me select this and go, there we go. Select our object and hit period, and that just kind of centers it up. So I'm going to select this middle strand, okay, and with this object selected, we want to come down here to object data, okay, the one that looks like the curve up here, object data properties. And right now it is aligned, it is attached in sync with our bevel A that we have. We want to get rid of that. Okay, oh man, oh no, it just went away. No big deal, we'll bring it back. We want to get our eyedropper tool and bring it over to the new one and attach it to that and see what happens. And now come in and take these off and put this on and we can see what we got. Okay, all right, we've got a new one. We have Variety, and we should probably move this a little bit. Maybe we can rotate it along the Z-axis like that to kind of bring it over. Okay, and we can see how this looks like that. There we go. Variety. I'm probably gonna need to edit this a little bit, and that's also okay. So let's jump into edit mode. Oh, let's tab and select this object. Now jump into edit mode and bring this out a little bit like there, and then over. Like there. Nicely done. Okay, and we're also going to do this to the taper, right? The bevel is one and the taper is another. So just to create some variety, let's go here in object mode, select our taper bezier. We're going to shift D and move it along the x-axis. And we'll come in here, and then let's tab into edit mode and do the same thing. Scale that in, rotate that out. Scale that in, rotate that out, like that. Okay, so now we have two different tapers that we can attach to different strands of hair. So let's come back to our model in object mode, select a new object, and then get rid of this taper and add the, add this taper. So we go eyedropper, new taper. Before we do anything, let's call this taper B, like that. Here, bezier bevel B, bezier taper B. Perfect. Okay. Let me see how this looks from front view. It might be a little too far down. So I'm going to tab into edit mode. Let me turn this background image off real quick. There we go. Alright, so we'll tab into edit mode. Let me just bring that up just a scotch, like that. That's coming through the hair here. Okay, so we need to bring this up. Tab into edit mode, object mode, back into edit mode, and bring this one up. Here we go, like that. And keep that layer that layer going. Okay, so we've got layers on layers, and we're building out the hair. And we've got, way more importantly, we've got variety now with our hair. Okay. And that looks pretty good. We've got the corner side of the bang. So, how are we doing? How are we doing on time? Oh, I think we've gone over. Outstanding. Okay, so we've got layers, and we've got different taper and different bevel to the profile of the hair so that they don't all look the same. And in the next one, we're just going to keep doing exactly what we're doing, which is, you know what, I might even need to, let's go back into this here and this here. In object mode, I think we might need to rotate this a little, maybe on the Z-axis, just a little bit. Scale that down a little bit and bring that out a little bit. Oh, no, hang on. And then grab it with control and bring it out just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Yeah. Okay. Nice little curves, nice organic curve. Bangs coming along nicely. Okay. So I'm going to stop it here, get up, get a stretch, get a bend, and we'll pick it up in the next one and go from there.